Hello, nice to see you. I'm Teacher David. Welcome back again to our video lesson, Shooting for the Star. This video will be our last part of this series. We have already finished going over the solar system and planets, a brief history of rocketry, rocket science and engineering, and today we are finally going to talk about build and test rockets. Before we start, make sure you have gone over the previous video lessons and review them again. That will help you with today's activity when designing and building your rockets. Also, we will play a little game near the end that will test your rocket knowledge. Are you ready to become a rocketeer? Let's get started. One last time, here is the vocabulary list for this lesson. Make sure you scan the QR code to download and print out the worksheet to help you to follow along. Plus, for this video, you can also download and print out the rocket design templates that I will be using as an example to show you how to build a rocket. Let's learn some of these words together. Please repeat after me. Airtight. Airtight. Assemble. Assemble. Attach. Attach. Cylinder. Cylinder. Improve. Improve. Instruction. Instruction. Material. Material. Pattern. Pattern. Pipe. Pipe. Rocketeer. Rocketeer. Seam. Seam. Stump. Stump. Template. Template. Splendid! Now, today I'll show you how to make two types of rocket. The first one is called Stump Rocket. The second one is called the Straw Rocket. Let's start with the Stump Rocket first. Here are the materials that you need to make the rocket. You need 2 pieces of A4 size printer papers. Or, again, you may download and print out the Stump Rocket design template and follow along. Second, you need scissors, tape, and or white glue. You also need 1/2 inch PVC pipe. This is also needed when you build the launcher. As for the launcher, you'll need someone to help you build, since there are a lot of materials that you will need to get from the hardware store. You can also download the Stump Rocket launcher assembling instructions by scanning the QR code. It will be included all the material that you need and instruction on how to build it. We will start by building the fuselage of our rocket. I will be using the Stump Rocket design template to show you how to build a rocket. You may also use one whole A4 size printer paper if you wish. Find the page with the fuselage design pattern, cut the diagram out along the dotted line. Oh, you may want to color and name your fuselage now. It's easier to do that before we start assembling it. Now, roll the paper into a cylinder shape with the PVC pipe inside. Start from the side says start here. Flip the paper over and start rolling. Make sure not too tightly. You should be able to slide the PVC pipe in and out freely. Tape or glue the paper to itself, not to the PVC pipe. Seal all the seams along with the cylinder. We need to remove the pipe once you've built the cylinder shape. Last, to finish this fuselage part, we need to seal one of the opening with tapes or by piece of paper and glue it shut. Make sure it's airtight. Next, we will move on to the nose cone. Again, cut out the pattern from our rocket design template or create your own. If you're going to use our rocket design pattern, I have prepared an extra pattern for you to choose from. Roll the pattern into a cone shape. At this step, you have to decide the nose cone's shape, size, and how would it be attached onto the fuselage. Take your time and decide. Once you have decided on the shape and size of your nose cone, you may use tape or glue to hold it together and onto the sealed side of the fuselage. Finally, we will finish adding the fins. Go ahead and cut out the fin patterns. Again, there are extra fins for you to pick and choose from, or use them all if you want to. Follow the line on the pattern and fold each one. If you want to make different shapes or sizes of fins by yourself, that would be okay too. The fins doesn't have to be a triangle shape. You can try to make your fins into any shapes that you think might be good. Here, I will choose and fold 4 fins and attach them near the tail of my rocket. Again, you can use more fins or attach them anywhere you like on the fuselage. Be creative and experiment with it. Use tape or glue to attach the fins onto the rocket. If you feel the fuselage is too soft to work with, you can put the PVC pipe back inside and use it as support, and remove it after you have done attaching the fins. Once you finish your rocket, it's time for us to test it out. Make sure you find a safe spot to launch the rocket. It should be a big open area with nothing in the flight path or blocking where the rocket will be flying toward. And never launch the rocket aiming at people. Now, if you have trouble or cannot build the PVC pipe launcher, here's another version of the rocket that you can make on your own. It's the straw rocket. This is like the mini version of the Stump Rocket and uses a straw instead of a PVC pipes as a launcher. And you don't have to build it. Just use the straw as it is. Let's try to make it. Here are the materials that you will need. First, you will need 1 piece of A4 size printer paper, or again, you can download the straw design template printout by scanning the QR code. You need scissors, tape, and/or white glue, straw. It's best to use a big straw, like the one you drink bubble tea with. Again, we will start by making the fuselage first. It's the same process as the Stump Rocket, but we will be using a straw instead of a PVC pipe. Go ahead and cut out the pattern along the dotted line. Same as the Stump Rocket, roll the paper into a cylinder shape with the straw inside. Start from the side that says start here. Flip the paper over and start rolling. Make sure not too tightly. The straw has to be able to move in and out of the cylinder freely. Tape or glue the cylinder together. Next, the fins. Cut out and fold the fin patterns. Once again, you can design and make your own if you wish. Use tape or glue to attach the fins onto the fuselage of the rocket. Finally, we will finish the rocket with the nose cone. It's the same building process for this part, and you also have many design choices here as well. Once you're finished, use the straw and send your straw rocket flying across the room. And remember, do not aim at people when you launch. Have fun! Now, after you have learned how to make the rockets, which design do you think works the best? And why? Try to remember what we talked about in the previous lesson. How or what would you do differently to improve your rocket? The nose cone? The fuselage? Or the fins? What do you think? Now, let's try to play a game and see how much you have learned. Please choose the best answer within the time limit. Let's find out how many questions can you answer correctly. Are you ready? Let's do it! Number 1. Which planet is the closest to the Sun? A. Earth. B. Venus. C. Mars. Or D. Mercury. Time's up, and the answer is D. Mercury. Number 2. What keeps everything in place in our solar system? A. Sun's heat. B. Sun's gravity. C. Sun's gas. And D. The sun's light. Time's up. And the correct answer is B. The sun's gravity. Number 3. Which planet has the most famous rings around it? Is it A. Venus? B. Uranus? C. Saturn? Or D. Neptune? Okay, time's up. The correct answer is C. Saturn. Number 4. By 1232 AD, the Chinese attached rockets onto arrows. These weapons are known as A. Fire arrows, B. Dragon rockets, C. Fire bamboo, or D. Arrow cannon. Time's up. The correct answer is A. Fire arrows. Number 5. The two most important people that have contributed to the foundation of all modern rocket science are A. Wang Hu and Jules Verne, B. Galileo Galilei, Isaac Newton, C. Roger Bacon, William Concrete, or D. Elon Musk and Richard Branson. Okay, time's up. The correct answer is B. Galileo Galilei and Isaac Newton. Number 6. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Who said this famous quote? A. Yuri Gagarin, B. Robert Goddard, C. Konstantin Tsiolkovsky, or D. Neil Armstrong. Okay, time's up. The correct answer is D. Neil Armstrong. Number 7. What is the base of modern rocket science? A. Robert Goddard, B. Laws of motion, C. Sputnik 1 and 2, D. Bumper Project. Time's up. The correct answer is B. Lots of motion. Number 8. When the rocket is moving through the air, which cause frictions, also known as A. Action, B. Inertia, C. Drag, or D. Gravity. Okay, time's up. The correct answer is C. Drag. Number 9. Which is not an essential part of all the rockets? A. Pumps, B. Fins or nozzle, C. Fuselage, or D. Nose cone. Okay, time's up. The correct answer is A. Pumps. Question 10. What are the two main types of rocket engines? A. Coal and steam, B. Liquid and solid, C. Solar and nuclear, or D. Electric and gas. Okay, time's up. The correct answer is B. Liquid and solid. So, how did you do? How many questions did you get it right? Well, that's all. That's the end of my video lessons shooting for the star. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have fun making them. I want to leave you with a quote by the American rocket scientist Robert Goddard in 1904. It is difficult to say what is impossible, for the dream of yesterday is the hope of today and reality of tomorrow. I'm Teacher David. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the future.